All right, what's going on, Banter fam? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. And today is a very important edition of the show as I'm going to be diving into what I think are 5 very key aspects as far as crypto gaming, NFT gaming, and Metaverse projects to take a look for during this bear market to try to figure out which projects will last the test of time. If we go into a 6, 12, 18-month bear market, what are the projects that you could safely keep on your watch list, look to officially accumulate whenever the time does come, whenever we see the bottom of the markets and start unloading into your favorite altcoins, aka your favorite NFT gaming, crypto gaming projects, as I will go through a list and some examples of what to look for throughout the market and throughout these protocols to see which ones will survive the bear market. So without further ado, let's get in the game.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't a percent. If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't a play. If you get lost, show you the way.
All right, and let's dive right into it. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to drop down and hit the subscribe button. We come out with brand new crypto content here every single day on Crypto Banter. And like the video if you enjoyed the video, if you get value out of the video, and if you are bullish on NFT gaming just like I am. Now, let's go through what I think are some key points to take a look at within the market to be able to see which projects will last the test of time and get through the bear market on the other side. Obviously, we saw crypto gaming coins go on an absolute run after Meta went ahead and announced they were changing their name from Facebook to Meta and plunging into the Metaverse. But we've seen rapid declines. Obviously, even Gala Games, one of the most top quality projects in the space, we're looking from a 70-cent to a 5-cent drop. But now Gala's been holding pretty decent in these ranges. And we want to go into why projects like Gala will be able to stand the test of time. And the number one bullet point. So we're going to go through 5 key points here that I think you should take a look at in crypto gaming to make sure that these projects and see if these projects will survive the bear market. And with Gala and projects like Sandbox, you want to take a look at not only production, but partnerships, right? So in the production standpoint, you're seeing a project like Gala Games pumping out so many projects that are launching on their platform. You have Town Crush, Fortitude. They're bringing back Battlestar Galactica, one of the most nostalgic games in the arcade world. Grit, which will be launching on the Epic Games Store. Eternal Paradox, Spider Tanks, The Walking Dead. They have so many different games. On top of that, they are spread out across so many different genres. We're going to have a first-person shooter, MMORPG, fantasy RPG with Mirandus. You have the business simulator with Legacy, card game with Legends Reborn. So they're really spreading out their ecosystem, and their entire ecosystem is one of the strongest in all of crypto gaming. As you see here, they have consistent updates. They're holding a Gala Gold $400,000 challenge with Town Crush, one of their new games. And then you go ahead and take a look. They are launching Grit on the Epic Games Store. So these are the type of things, when there's this type of adoption and this type of partnership level taking place within a project, it's something to definitely take a look at. And I can tell you that Gala is a project that is not strapped for cash. They have plenty of money to bootstrap this thing. If we're in a 6 to 12 to 18-month bear market, their runway is very, very long. I do not see Gala being one of those projects that's going to start to kind of struggle with cash. They have plenty of cash to get these done. And with all the partnerships and the games that they are producing, it's something to definitely take a look at as a strong point in this ecosystem. And then let's also talk about Sandbox. So Sandbox, we were up at about $6.91, and now we're at about $1. Now, no matter what you think about the metaverse, whether you think Sandbox is the future of metaverses, as of right now, it is the metaverse, right? I mean, Decentraland is kind of kind of buggy. It's not the best experience. Sandbox, there's so much you can go in and do. And regardless of what you think, if Sandbox is the next 10 years of Metaverse, Sandbox is probably one of the bets that will not die in this bear market. When you look at their partners with The Walking Dead, Adidas, Atari, Care Bears, the Smurfs, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Hell's Kitchen. They are just doing so much. And so many projects are not only looking at Sandbox, but they want to be involved in the Sandbox. So these are stuff you want to take a look at with projects like Gala Games, with Epic Games, with Sandbox, with all of their partnerships. I think it's a very key point to take a look at. So number one is production and partnerships. And let's go to number two, and we're going to use Immutable X as an example here. Funding and adoption. So funding is key. Obviously, everyone in these times talks about what project is going to have the most runway to be able to survive a bear market. Well, let's look at Immutable X as they earmarked a $500 million fund for gaming and Web3 development. And not only that, you're seeing top games flocking to the IMX ecosystem. Illuvium, Embersword, Guild of Guardians. We had Wagme Games join Immutable X. We had them on just a couple of weeks ago. There's so many massive titles and big games and even smaller ecosystem games joining Immutable because the adoption is there. The seamless transactions that went through whenever Illuvium kind of banked on Immutable for their land sales, for example. Immutable presents a great user experience that's much cheaper, much cheaper than the Ethereum chain. And I could definitely see the continued adoption and the funding playing a key role for Immutable down the line. And I don't think that funding is an issue with projects like Gala, projects like Sandbox, Illuvium, Immutable, etc. I think that when you're looking at it and you're looking at runway, funding is obviously important. So try to take a look, what is in their funds? What have they raised in the past? The $500 million fund here for Immutable is definitely key. And let's also move over to something that's game specific, in my opinion, and that's continuous development. And what I mean by continuous development is not just hype tweets, not just keeping up on the Twitter to make sure the followers are engaged and the holders are feeling happy. I'm talking about stuff like what Illuvium is doing. As we see, Kieran has a plan up to 2032 for the Illuvium ecosystem. That makes me more bullish than ever on an ecosystem and a game like Illuvium, who just raised over $70 million during their land sales. So we're seeing the adoption, and the eyes on Illuvium are definitely there. And on top of that, they are continuously developing, as I mentioned. As we see, they just released their gameplay for their open world game, and this just looks phenomenal. When you're looking across, the entire landscape of crypto games, there's not much that actually looks as quality as Illuvium. They're going to have their auto battler. You're going to be able to go out and catch the Illuvials. There will be the Illuvatars, the open world gameplay. There's just so much going on and so much development within this ecosystem. And once again, funding for them is not a problem whatsoever. They have the long vision. They are aiming to have this ecosystem up and running in 2032. So they have a 10-year window here for this ecosystem and for this game to keep developing, which would mean when the game launches, they will have update after update, seasonal updates, etc. Think of Grand Theft Auto Online. Everyone's been waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6 for years and years. Everyone's been waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. But you know what they've done? Grand Theft Auto Online has new missions and new updates almost every single month at this point, which keeps the game fresh. And it keeps everything fresh within the ecosystem and the open world that you can go participate in. There's no shortage of activities. And I could see Illuvium pulling off that exact same thing, new missions, new updates, new Illuvials, new characters over time to keep people interested and keep the ecosystem alive. So let's run down the three key points so far. We have production and partnerships, funding and adoption, and game-specific continuous development. And Illuvium is a prime example of that continuous development. Now let's kind of take a look at what a lot of these projects have a strength, and that is ecosystem activity. So when you're looking at something like an Ultra, who is bringing on so many games, once again, to launch on their platform, Ultra is basically the Steam of crypto gaming. They have an NFT marketplace. Oh, and they're also building their own first-person shooter exclusive to Ultra, and this looks phenomenal. This really reminds me of like a Halo 3 type of graphics. Coming from that time of gaming myself, this looks a lot like Halo to me. We couldn't wait to share a new screenshot for the open world FPS on Ultra. Share your thoughts below, as they said. So this is the type of stuff with the ecosystem, with NFT marketplace, with so many games flocking to Ultra as the Steam of crypto gaming. And on top of that, they're building their own custom FPS. If you didn't see the interview, we talked with the CEO of Ultra on a video back in, this was in March. I think a very, very high value video to see the overview of their entire ecosystem and their goals down the line, as they have worked together in games for over 20 years. So that's a team and an ecosystem that I see thriving regardless and making it through the bear. Another would be Vulcan Forged. You know, Vulcan Forged has so many different games within their ecosystem. They have Forge Arena, the Vulcanverse, Berserk. They have Forge Runner, which is like a temple run type of game, Coddle Pets, Battle Chess, Block Babies. They have so many different offerings, kind of similar to Ultra and Gala Games, for example. And they're doubling down. They just held their Vulcan 2 out in Greece. And as we see here, they have Vulcanverse, which is their metaverse, Metascapes, which is a metaverse maker. So that is for game devs and creators. All the Frenzy games, which are metaverse play to earn ecosystem. They have Agora, which is their metaverse marketplace. And on top of that, they are just now launching their node ecosystem. So almost 8 million PYR locked, which is 40% of the circulating supply. So 40% of the circulating supply just got locked up for the node snapshot, which was just today. 430 nodes qualified, and the Vulcanomics are now ready to lift off. Now, this is part of their ecosystem. The Elysium blockchain will be powering the Vulcan Forged ecosystem. So all of these, the Galas, the Immutable X, the Sandbox, they all qualify for this ecosystem pillar. So the activity revolving around the entire ecosystem is very strong with all of these projects. So that's something you want to take a look at. What's the development on all ends? Because it shouldn't just be all gameplay. It shouldn't just be all this or that. You need to look at the entire spectrum as a full scope and make sure that they are continuously pushing things forward. And projects like Ultra, Gala, Immutable, Vulcan Forged, etc. Their ecosystems are live and active, and I would almost say they are doubling down during these time periods and making sure that they build in the bear to prosper in the bull. And I see these projects all doing a very good job of that. And then at the end of the day, does the product make sense? Like, will this actually make sense in the grand scheme of the future of crypto gaming? So when you look at like a Polygon, I think Polygon, Immutable X, those are prime examples of gaming blockchains that I see that are here to stay. With Ryan Wyatt behind Polygon, with Dr. Disrespect's game coming over to Polygon, Sandbox just moved over to Polygon as well. Ryan Wyatt's experience with YouTube gaming, I see being very heavy for the future of Polygon and the partnerships that they can make. And they also just got named as one of the 30 breakthrough brands in 2022, alongside Axie Infinity. You see 100 Thieves on this list, MoonPay, OpenSea. There's so many big names and big companies on this list. And as we see down here on the bottom left, that Polygon is one of the 30 breakthrough brands of 2022. And then another project to take a look at and always keep your eyes on are the launch pads, right? So Seedify, the continuous development, that's not going to stop. Projects will want to launch, do their IGOs on Seedify. Seedify is the leading GameFi ecosystem for IGOs, leading GameFi launchpad across the entire sector. So when you take a look, they have so many projects just waiting to be launched. And we know in a bull market that projects that are launchpads, people really start accumulating launchpad tokens so they can participate in all of these launches. Born to Die, League of Empires, Gems, Shark Race, etc. So I see launchpads obviously making it so that product makes sense, right? And then Verasity, which is also getting super dirt cheap. They have so many different elements, from esports streaming to things like their patented protocol for ad tech. These are things that I definitely think will be here to stay for the future of crypto. Blockchain integration, quality game ecosystems like the Sandbox and Illuvium, those aren't going away anytime soon. And they have the funding to get it done and survive through these types of markets, guys. So these are just an example list of a lot of projects that I have my eyes on. And here's kind of a bear market gaming watch list. We have Ethereum, Avalanche, Polygon. ApeCoin is something I definitely have my eyes on because it's now getting pretty dirt cheap. And if something else comes up like their land sale event, it could definitely drive up the price of the ApeCoin token. Obviously, everything we've talked about here, the Sandbox, Gala, IMX, ILV, Ultra, Vulcan Forge, Seedify, Verasity. I still have my eyes very closely on lower cap projects like Phantasma, like Altura. Even Gods Unchained is sustaining a very good player base. So if they can kind of continuously build in this market, I could see them having another one. Projects in specific games that are really doubling down in this time period, like Sidus, like Realms of Eternity, like Mobland. You know, these are lower cap and these are much higher risk. But find those projects that fit all the parameters that we just discussed, and you will be set up for success whenever the time comes to start accumulating these projects and actually take your re-entrances on these top protocols like Gala, like IMX, like Ultra, like Vulcan Forged. I see all of these projects prospering through and making it out on the other side. And to recap, production and partnerships, funding and adoption, continuous development. Now, that is specifically for games that are doubling down, adding game modes, adding updates, etc. Ecosystem activity. And then does the product make sense for the future of crypto gaming? I think every project we talked about in this video does. And I kind of wanted to give you a broad checklist of how to assess a project's bandwidth to be able to make it through a potential, who knows, year, 2-year bear market. None of us knows when this thing is going to turn around. It's all on the economy, everything that's going on with the money printing. We do not know when this thing will turn around, but you need to have your parameters set, assemble your watch lists, have your stable coins ready when the time comes, when this market turns around. We all know that alts will follow Bitcoin, and this would be a master list of mine that I am looking to unload on when the time comes. I am not buying anything. This is not that type of thing. I am just telling you the parameters on what I have done to build out my watch list and keep an eye on the projects in this time that aren't cowering down, aren't just not posting on their socials, or are going into their caves. I'm actually looking at the projects that are more out in front, more up in front and center, and actually doubling down in the bear. So guys, if you enjoyed this video and if you got value out of this video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the Crypto Banter channel as we go live here every single day on DeFi, fundamentals, charting, crypto gaming, NFTs, and more. So I will be back on Tuesday, as Monday is July 4th here in America. So I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend and play well, my friends.